Hello, Aries. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 10 of Pentacles, wealth, prosperity, the completion of a project, maybe. This is the picture of your best life. And I think you're somebody who knows what they want in life, knows what they're capable of. I feel like you have a very clear picture of what you value in life, right? What wealth really does mean to you. And I've asked you this many times on the channel. And leave some comments. Let me know what wealth means to you. Give me the top 3 things that mean, you're living your best life. Right? Is it health? Is it financial freedom? Is it love? What are those things that mean the most to you? I feel like you're somebody who is, I feel like you don't have a lot of time for nonsense. I feel like you're really focused on building this best life. We may have this feeling of, hey, life is short. I'm not going to waste it on anything that's not leading me to my ultimate goals. Whatever these are big goals too. These are like long-term goals. This is what you want to achieve today, tomorrow, and for the foreseeable future. Okay? This is a very good card. It could be that you are reaching the conclusion of a particular project that you've been working on. Okay? We need some more context around this card. Okay? I feel this is also, it could be the idea of reaching the end of a project could be sort of reaching a particular goal in terms of your health or your well-being. Okay? So let's see what else is playing out here today. We've got our 10 of Pentacles, and we've got a Princess of Swords. Interesting. We've got a Fool. We've got a Knight of Swords. Okay. A 7 of Swords. A lot of air energy here. And of course, the Chariot, the fortified progress. We are immune to the effects of these swords cards. The air of the Fool too is down here beneath the surface. Sometimes the Fool is just this desire to just abandon the whole thing, and just to sort of run away from everything and just be free. It's kind of like that wanderlust. It's that travel bug we sometimes feel. Sometimes this is that feeling that we get when we just want to leave it all behind and go be anonymous, go start over somewhere else, because it's just something's made a mess of things now, but you're not doing that. I feel that the Chariot is really significant because the way forward is fortified, consistent, devoted, and loyal, even though there's some issue going on now. These could be family members. These could be talking about work people, friends, maybe. But I think that there's some kind of there's some sort of a communication blockage with somebody in your life, and I think that it's difficult for you to get them to sort of see the reality or see the truth of something. Okay. Also, Aries, if there's anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know in the comments. Okay, now let's put our cards out for the path of the Serpent. Oh, there we go. We have Aries energy, your superpower card. We need to bless that card as this card is blessing us. This is your Aries power card. It's the Emperor, right? It rules the sign of Aries. Very, very good. A great way to start the path of the Serpent. And we've got 8 of Cups in the environment, in the context of your relationships. I think it's really how you're relating to this whole thing here is a bit 8 of Cups there. More air energy, the difficult thing, right? The obstacle card. This to me is the river card, all right? And it's usually the big river we have to cross to get to the other side of peace, harmony, love, tranquility. 6 of Cups. So it is, it has a lot to do with this air. The swords really are the big deal here. We seem to be getting an amber alert here this morning. Interesting. Sorry about that. Okay. I have my phone here as a timer, so I don't go too long on these readings. It started buzzing at me for an amber alert in the area. Those are always scary when we get those, Okay, so let's select our mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down over here with, no, it's not you, Jimbo. You've got to go to the back of the line. It is Alien, Simon, Mork, Ripley, kind of the original guardian of the mystery card here, right? Everybody has been wondering where Alien has gone. Well, Alien was just holding their place in line, and here they are. Okay, everybody's back in order. Now, if you have a prediction for that mystery card, please put it in the comments down below, okay? My wife is upstairs. She'll check the Amber Alert. She'll see if there's anything we need to keep an eye out for. But, we tend to take those things seriously, and as I think we all should. So if I'm getting that in my cell phone, it doesn't happen often. It must be pretty serious, Anyway, I never like getting those. But I wonder how that sort of, that feeling of emergency is playing out in your life right now. It feels kind of weird that it happens during an Aries reading. I had just started filming, right? And so I kind of feel that some of this energy here is pretty significant to you, okay? Especially with all of this air energy. A lot of the air energy that kind of makes you want to just run away from it all, okay? I feel that there's somebody in your life right now, feels kind of like a family member, but it feels like they're at odds with you. It feels like there's some sort of conflict there. It feels like there's just there's a communication blockage that might be in some way interfering with you just getting on with your life and getting your best life put together, getting things built, Let's take a look around the room here. Major, major, major. This desire to run away, okay? But the fortified pushing ahead with loyalty and devotion, but with leadership. Now, these two cards, the Fool and the Emperor, could not be more different, because the Fool has no rules, has no discipline, is not serious about anything except for not being serious, right? The only thing the Fool wants to do is run and play and experience new things and sort of stumble around and kind of satisfy curiosity. Novelty after novelty after novelty. I want to travel the world. I want to go start over in a new place where nobody knows me and I don't know anything. I love the unfamiliar. Okay? Whereas the Emperor, on the other hand, feels at home, on the throne and wants everything to be done well and with business way, wants everything done according to their plans, their ideas, their wishes. Right? And so wants law and order, wants routine, wants everybody to be obedient, right? Wants something that is stable and steady, has a lot of discipline, is very serious, very focused, okay? And this is your general energy right now. Maybe what we need is a little bit of letting go, a little bit of this Fool. What if we could blend together the Fool and the Emperor together, and maybe that gives us our 6, right? A blending together of energies. And of course, the Chariot card is right in the middle of our tarot table today. It's a very center card. Okay, this is the galactic center. This is you holding on to what is really cherished. You're not throwing something away and running away because you care about this thing. Okay, and you're not going to be just completely serious, disciplined, and even like a taskmaster, an authoritarian in your life, right? Because you care about this thing. And the Chariot, not only is it the loyal, devoted, and steady, committed, moving forward, right? Pushing ahead despite the obstacles, despite how we feel. We're sticking with it, right? We're determined. This is also a card that sometimes talks about the home. It's a Cancer energy, right? That's what makes me feel like this is a family thing. This is the center card. It's kind of like we're trying to hold this family together, or this family relationship, whoever this person might be. It's hard to say. They could be an air sign person. That might be it, with all this air energy that we have. They may be a Cancer person. The air cards may just be the idea that you don't seem to be on the same page as this person, whether they're a sibling, a parent, grandparent, cousin, whether it's your romantic partner, spouse. It could be friends, but it feels that there's an intimacy, or there will definitely be a closeness, right? And this is really good. I love the outcome card. I almost wish we could wait till the end to reveal that, because that is just, that makes me want to cry, right? With all this discord and disorder, and then, the Six of Cups. It's just like we're all hugging it out at the end, So I feel like whatever the issue is, it's going to be resolved. Yeah. So we don't have any fire, right? We don't have, we got water. But what we mostly have is air, 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 air. Even the Fool is some air energy. Of course, that would mean that the Emperor card is that fire card that you need, right? You need a little bit of air and a little bit of fire here. And of course, we have our Earth card right in the center. And that Earth card is sort of the field in which all this is playing out. Now, this would suggest probably that it's maybe a career thing. Maybe it has to do with money. Maybe there is, Princess of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. Princess of Swords is not very good with money. It's somebody that, doesn't know how to write a check. You know what I mean? Somebody who's still kind of learning and still makes mistakes. And maybe is even resistant to sort of learning the business, or learning the ropes, or seeing the significant. It could be somebody in your life that's just spending too much money, and you're trying to reason with them and say, look, we've got to tighten our budget. We have goals that we're trying to get to. It's a princess. It's not gender specific, right? It could be anybody in your life. It could be something at work too that's going on. It could be your own business. There's a feeling of a tight-knit group of people. So if it is a business, this is like a family business, or it's your own, you're a small business owner kind of thing, okay? Because I feel that there's somebody around that is just maybe not taking it as seriously as you take it. And maybe this is the finances in the home. Maybe this is even, if we think of the health or well-being aspect of the Ten of Pentacles. Maybe this is somebody that really isn't taking your intentional, diet and exercise, or that isn't taking seriously the health goals or the wellness goals that you have. Okay. There's a chance this is all part of you. This could all be taking place inside of you. But when we have this many court cards, when we have 1, 2, 3, or more court cards, then I start to think, okay, there are some people around that are involved in this situation with you. Okay. So the princess is kind of like trying to understand, trying to learn, but is having difficulties. May not be taking things all that seriously. There's sort of an immaturity in this person. And I feel like it's causing you some grief. I feel like it's difficult for you to get your intentions or your ideas or your meaning across to this person. And it's sort of frustrating that you keep saying the same things over and over again, and they're sort of missing the point, or they have some sort of counter argument or some sort of response, but you're like, that's not even relevant. There's a frustration here. Okay. And to me, that's the Princess of Swords here. Underneath everything, the Fool, we talked about the Fool. The Fool is that budding desire inside of you that's just thinking, this is absolutely futile, which happens to be the name, the key word of our Seven of Swords, futility. Okay. So there's part of you that just says, this is hopeless and futile. I just want to get the heck out of here. I just need to go run away and start my life over somewhere else where nobody knows me, where I don't have any friends, I don't have any family. I can just do what I need to do without interference. I think at some point in our lives, we've all had that feeling. I remember being a kid, well, mid-20s, a kid, and working, my day job and putting in all these hours at the same company. And I always had this, there was family stuff going on and personal stuff everywhere. I'd always have this fantasy of just packing my stuff, driving away to some new town, random, middle of nowhere, just getting out, getting a job at the gas station, finding some place where I could just get a really cheap room to live in, and just being a nobody, nowhere. That's the fool. He wants to be nobody, nowhere. Or everybody, everywhere. Well, that's more the magician than the fool, I think we've all had that wanderlust. I want to just leave everything behind. I want to leave school behind and just go backpacking through Europe for a semester, It's not always practical. And for me, I never really did that. There was always, even when I moved here where I am now in the middle of nowhere, I had a plan. I had a job already when I got out here. I actually had the same job I had in California, but they permitted me to be a remote worker, right? And so I was able to keep my job, packed up all my stuff in a little car. I drove out here and, I've been here for a few years with Lenore, and we've got our daughter and everything now, and our life is growing and building up in the proper way. It's not without its challenges and its difficulties. So it's a little bit of fool, because I literally just told my parents one day, hey, I'm moving. And they said, what? And I moved 1,500 miles away. But it was somewhat organized, and there was a plan. Okay? So it was a little bit fool, it was a little bit emperor. But this is underneath the surface in you. This is it's just like this, it's a growing feeling in your gut. And I think you're somebody that really does like novelty. You like the newness. You like kind of, in a way, in a certain sense, you like starting over. You like getting involved in something and getting jazzed up about it. And, you're a cardinal fire sign. So that makes sense. You like the beginning of things where there is a rush of energy, a rush of creativity, a rush of enthusiasm. But now when we have to really do the hard part, and we have to learn, we have to teach, we have to communicate, we have to deal with drama. That's what it feels like right now, drama, right? And that futility is up here looming over everything. But who is this Knight of Swords in the background? Well, I think that this is, again, with the 3 court cards, I feel like there is a larger group of people here. It could just be you and like 2 or 3 other people. I think it's primarily one person that you've got this difficult time with. But the Knight of Swords is looking at the future and trying to see some path ahead, trying to look through the entire plan, trying to plan step by step. Ace of Swords, 2 of Swords, 3, 4, 5. We're stuck at the 7, right? Where there's a blockage. I can't see past this situation. No matter, I used to be able to see, okay, this whole thing's mapped out. We're good to go. But now we're stuck here at a 7 of Swords. And we're having a difficult time seeing that there's any way past this point. Okay? So we're looking in the future. We're sort of looking at, we're looking at the 7 of Swords. We're looking at the futility. And we're almost thinking, this is hope. There's no way out of this. This is a snare. This is an entanglement that's not going to be resolved. I don't know what it's about, right? I don't know what it's about. I think it's about money, mostly, right? But it's really about the miscommunication. It's the inability to really get on the same page and get a common understanding, maybe about this physical or financial issue, okay? Or that somebody isn't on board with your physical or financial goals. 10 of Pentacles, right? The goals, what we're trying to do, all this, why we're putting in this effort and energy. And it could be that they're doing things that continually like set you back. And it's just, can you flow with me here forward instead of doing things that kind of, put me back a day or a week or a month, you see. Because you do have a plan, and this card is in your background. There is a plan of seeing this thing all the way through, and you know what needs to be done. Maybe the plan is sort of the budget, you know what I mean? And the Princess of Swords feels like it's these things that keep popping up, and I do feel like it's involving the communication and just other people, but these things that sort of interfere with the plan. You've got this budget, but then you keep going over budget, and why are we doing this? Come on, help me out here, And if you're not going to help me, at least don't hurt me, Because now it seems 7 of Swords, it seems futile. It seems I've just got to scrap the whole thing, just forget it, Because it seems that there's no way past this point. And this is sort of every which way you turn, everything you try to do, seems like somebody's at the corner with a little dagger in front of you saying, no, don't go this way, So it kind of feels like you have to watch your back. And I don't mean in a physical way. There's no danger in that sense. But as far as your plan goes, your efforts and your will to move forward, it feels like you're always being challenged. Every corner you turn down, it's a dark alley, and there's someone there with a knife. And it's just like, damn it, again, And so I think it's costing you a lot. Yeah. And I think there are people around you that don't seem to be helping. In fact, it seems like they're kind of the ones with the daggers. Does that make sense to you? And so this is looming up above everything on the path of the dove. We start to feel as if this is never going to change. This is never going to end, right? But the Chariot card, we're pushing forward, we're fortifying ourselves, and I think there are things that you can do that sort of minimize their access or their influence or their mischief, their troublemaking capabilities here. The Chariot is kind of saying, what can you do to shore up this plan? Change the password. You know what I mean? Take back the bank cards. Put a limit on something there if it's a financial thing. Have very strict rules. Okay? And maybe the Fool is down here because things have been a little bit nebulous. And maybe the Chariot is saying, let's shore this thing up. Let's take a fence around it. Let's literally post the rules on the side of the wall. Let's have a bunch of thou shall nots, because it seems like this is a situation that needs the discipline, needs the rules, needs things to be clearly spelled out, clear expectations. Okay? Because I almost wonder if the Emperor is kind of thinking like, okay, the hammer's about to drop. There's going to be some really, really harsh changes here pretty soon. We're getting kind of pissed off. But before we get so pissed off, let's try to be disciplined. Let's try to be emperor, but let's be a little bit fool too. But maybe the Fool needs to be a little bit more emperor. And that kind of brings us right here in the middle where we're creating rules. We're not being harsh. We're not being, hurtful or aggressive or confrontational. What we're doing is setting some clearly defined boundaries. Right? The Chariot card to me is it's a fencing off of something. It's saying this is where you're allowed to operate freely. But do not go beyond these boundaries or you're fired, right? And it may be that simple. It may be, look, maybe you've never really clearly, expressed or set forth or conveyed the rules. Simple, concise, not very verbose, right? It's just very simple. Thou shalt not do this or this or this or this or this. You do it, then you're out of my life. Very simple. Okay? And if you don't like these rules, there's the door. Okay? And I think that's the kind of discipline that needs to be invoked. Okay? Before we get fully over to the Emperor, we need to be right in the middle. Okay? And maybe the Fool energy over here is saying that we've been a little bit too lax, that we've been too tolerant, we've been too friendly. You've given them too many chances already. Yeah, this could be a personal thing. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's not about money. Maybe the Ten of Pentacles is literally just about your life path and your long-term goals, whatever they may be. You've given this person a lot of chances. And maybe this last chance is clearly defined rules and boundaries, very simple words. And make them read it and agree to it. And it said, you understand these rules, right? And I think that can be kind of the final chance. Yeah. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. As we talk about these cards, also, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It's free to subscribe, and it supports the channel, and I really do appreciate that. Okay. Thank you. Aries energy, right? Your superpower card, the Emperor. Standing up, putting your foot down, making these rules and regulations, setting these boundaries in no uncertain terms, very clear, concise, using the fewest words possible. Okay? And maybe as few rules as possible. Sum everything up in one thing. But however many you need, however we need to approach this, maybe it's not really writing down the rules and posting them on their door or anything, but something similar to that. Okay? Because you have to stand up and take charge here, otherwise this person is going to run all over your long-term life goals and set you back. Set you back and set you back and set you back. You take 2 steps forward and they push you back a step or 2 or 3. It's just not worth it anymore. Okay? So the Emperor is that part of you that is going to stand up, has the discipline and the focus, doesn't necessarily mean that the other person does. But you've got to be law and order here, not the TV show. You've got to be the authority. You've got to set the rules, but how do you set rules and boundaries yet still maintain the sort of the light and airy and playful friendship or the kind of the levity of it all? And maybe you're in that position where maybe you're a manager, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're the head of the family. How do you set rules? How do you be very serious and stern and assertive, but still be their friend? This is kind of, this is the ultimate dilemma of parenting, I think, too. How do you be the disciplinarian? How do you set rules and boundaries? But how do you also still try to be their best friend? I've got that problem now. My daughter's 4. I can't imagine when she's a teenager because, my wife and I, we have this conversation a lot. It's like, well, we need to set rules and boundaries, yes. But we also want her to feel safe and free and creative and playful, and we want to strengthen that bond of love and affection between us, but there also has to be some rules, So we can be serious and focused and have rules and boundaries, but we can do so in a way that is both powerful, where she understands, right? And she doesn't think it's a joke or a game or something, but yet still, still maintain that closeness and still have that energy that says, we're setting rules and we need to give instruction, right? And set boundaries and things. But it doesn't change how we feel about you. It doesn't change how much we love you or how wonderful you are, And so it's difficult to do that. It's difficult to navigate that, especially given the responses that we get in return, And so it's not too unlike your situation right now, okay? That darn 8 of Cups right here in the environment. It's starting to feel like that the glass is half empty or half full, doesn't matter. The idea is that it's half. The idea is that if you lose one aspect and goes toward the other side, you're losing, right? If you go the other direction, you're still losing. It doesn't matter if the glass is half full or half empty. It's still, there's only half in there, okay? So either way, there's going to be a sort of sacrifice of one energy for the gain of the other side of things. But this is also talking about your relationships and the environment around you. And I feel like it's starting to kind of, well, it's getting hopeless and helpless, these two. Right? These two are not a very good combination. When these two friends get together, it's like, that's bad news. You know, these are the friends that you don't want them to hang out because they're going to get in trouble every time. Okay? And really what's going to happen is they're either going to run away or they're going to just rage. Yeah. So it's difficult to be in this Eight of Cups thing because it feels as if no matter what you do, the futility of it, right? No matter what you do, the situation isn't getting any better. No matter what you do, someone's going to be upset, right? And it's just kind of it's quicksand. It's a swamp. The more you move, the more you try to do anything, the worse it gets. And so again, there's this hopelessness, this helplessness. Let's just abandon it all. Let's just run. Let's just leave it all behind. Say, forget it. You know. But I think our river card here is really showing the way. It's rising above how we feel here. Rising above either the feeling of, I just want to be the best friend. I just want to be well liked. I just want to have fun and you know, have a good time. And rising above the feeling of wanting to run away, just wanting to start over somewhere else where we don't know anybody and we're nobody and we're nowhere, right? Also rising above this sort of hopeless feeling, or when the water's draining out of these cups, it's easy to replace that water with fire, right? With rage, with aggression, with frustration, especially with this thing looming over your head. So we have to rise above this too. We have to rise above our need for just wanting to kind of yell and scream and be this full-on kind of, you know, vengeful or wrathful emperor. We don't want to do that, right? So we sort of need a timeout in a way, and that's the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is rising above the weather, the heart and mind, right? Which we have here. Mind, heart, mind, thinking and feeling functions in disarray. Thinking is not too clear. We seem to not be able to think ourselves out of this situation. And the feeling, it feels worse and worse and worse every day. We're getting more upset, we're getting sad, getting that hopeless, helpless feeling. So we're rising above that, getting a fresh perspective, looking at our heart and mind. It's difficult to see ourselves, right? This is a card of mindfulness. This is a card of taking yourself out of yourself and looking at how you've been thinking, how you've been feeling, how you've been communicating. Looking at what your sort of impulses are right now. What's brewing underneath the surface? What does that weather look like? From way up here, looking down, you can see the clouds. Up here, it's all blue skies and sunshine. Looking down, yeah, you see the storm, okay? So this is that difficult thing. But doing that leads us to our Six of Cups. Now, the Queen of Swords is also a card that's looking at the past. And maybe looking at the past and looking at perhaps where everything started. Looking at perhaps, you know, in some ways, going back to basics. Looking back to the beginning of things. Let's look back at the Ace of Wands, or Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, even the Three of Swords. What things are taking place back then? What things were working? Let's go back to those basic things. Let's simplify. Right? Simplify. Not simplify, simplify, right? And I think that is the sort of the timeout, the mindfulness, however that plays out for you. If it is really like just taking a break from everybody, doing some breathing exercises, trying to be more mindful, if it's, you know, listening to a podcast, listening to a guided meditation, or whatever it needs to be for you, to take that step backwards and look at things. Because I feel that the The Chariot is really the only way forward here. And the Six of Cups is the outcome that we want. We want tranquility. We want love. This is a card of family. This is the card, a lot of people say this is the card of memory. I know that's how it's written in a lot of books and things. I think that this is that sense of connection and community that we really wish for. Sometimes we get it, sometimes it's just a memory, but I feel that this is that tight-knit aspect of this group of people for you. You and this one person or these other people, whoever's involved. It's tranquil. Okay, there's love here, there's pleasure here, there's joy. This is a success. This is a 6 after what would be like a 5 of cups, right? After suffering, after disappointment, after the futility, after the fighting, after the loss, after the debating, after all the beef, there is love. There's connection. It's a great big hug at the end, And this really feels good. And this is, I think, by stepping away from this situation and setting down these very Chariot-style rules and having it be very, very clear, but we need to simplify and break them down into really clear, very understandable, fewest words possible. No words more than 2 syllables. Very simple. Doing that and also taking time out so that you can calm your heart and mind down. Okay, and get out of this heightened, frustrated, anxious kind of energy. You'll feel the love again, and this will be very, very good outcome. This is a group that's going to stick together. Okay. There's harmony here. Yeah, harmony is what we like. Yeah. It's unity too. It's everybody is kind of, we're all in this together kind of feeling. It's everybody's just kind of hugging it out. There's no need to talk about it. We don't need to ever bring it up again. Let's just hug it out and let's move forward. Tomorrow's a new day. Yeah, let's look at our mystery card. Let's see if tomorrow is really going to be a new day. I'm thinking Ace of Cups, and really an ace of anything. Maybe Ace of Pentacles, since my palm is itching. If you have a prediction, though, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. Queen of Swords. This one, again, right? Reinforcement. It's saying that this is the difficult thing. And maybe this is a response to something that you just said. Because I feel that when we're talking about this, the mindfulness, the rising above the storm and looking down at things, taking a step back and calming ourselves down, heart and mind, I feel like your response is kind of like, your response is, it's not going to work, or easier said than done, or no, because that's just going to encourage their behavior, I feel that there's a resistance to the simplicity here. But then Spirit here saying again, no, Queen of Swords. Go back to basics, go back to the beginning. Start again start the plan sort of over again, I guess. Go back to the fundamentals. It's sort of like we get too complicated, we get too advanced, and we start to just kind of lose our way. Say, okay, well, we're going to just go back to basics. We're going to go back to step 1 here, in terms of our relationship, in terms of our communication. Go back to the fundamentals of this thing with this person. Yeah. So I think this is a strong confirmation. It is an echoing of this card, same card. I think this is the way. This is the way over the river. This is the way to overcome the difficulty of this situation without kind of destroying everything. I mean, this is not a tower card. This doesn't have to be a tower moment. Okay? We want the unity, the harmony, and we want the resonance. We want the tight-knit, we want the feeling of family here with the Six of Cups. So we have to take a step back and calm ourselves down, go back to basics, let's simplify. Let's start from the beginning and get those basic rules, those basic boundaries. Okay. Now we're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link in the corner. There's one down below. New readings for Aries, Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's totally free. Doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.